Yeah, today's gonna be a little different. What is up, YouTube fam? Jesse here, and we are back with day 13 of Vlogmas. And today, we're going to be talking about how elevation affects the flight of a disc. Now, I live in Denver, and if you were to play here, your discs would fly totally different. And if I were to play where you live, mine would fly different there too, unless you're in Denver. But regardless, if you didn't already know, the higher you go in elevation, the more overstable your disc becomes. So today, I want to explain why that happens and some of my favorite tricks for when you're playing at different elevations. Now you might be thinking,
I've heard people talk about how discs fly more overstable at higher elevations, but it can't really be that different.
Well, it is. And the first reason is science. As far as I can tell, the two biggest factors affecting the flight of a disc are air density and a sub-factor of air density, air pressure. In simple terms, when you go up in elevation, the air becomes less dense and thus reduces lift, which in flight number language causes less glide, less turn, and more fade. Ultiworld did a super interesting article about this that goes a little bit more in depth, and I've linked it below. But here's the most interesting part. Dr. William Crowther, an aerospace engineering professor, said that flight speeds have to go up by about 10% for a flying object to generate the same amount of lift at around 5,000 feet. This literally means that if you want a disc to fly the exact same in Colorado where I am as in Alabama where Robbie is, then you'd have to throw it 10% faster here. What? I mean, science. So check this out. I make my own discs in my garage, so I sent one to Robbie so you could see a side-by-side of us throwing them 200 feet. And while it's pretty obvious that there's a subtle difference in their flight paths, it becomes even more pronounced the farther you throw and the higher up you go. So now that we know that, I have 3 tricks that have helped me a ton when playing at different elevations. And the first is to shift your bag. Let's just hypothetically say that you live in Birmingham, you're sponsored by Innova, and you love birdies. And let's just hypothetically say that you're coming to Denver with your bag, in which you have a Valkyrie for your understable fairway driver, an Eagle as your stable fairway, and a Firebird as your overstable fairway. One of my favorite tricks is to simply think about those discs shifting slots, because what's going to happen is your understable discs are going to fly much more like your stable ones much more like your overstable ones, and your overstable ones much more like tilts. But hey, since different folks enjoy different strokes, I have a second tip, and we'll call it my precious child. Going back to our hypothetical individual who has a beard, let's just say they bag 3 different pigs because those 3 pigs are all beat in at different levels. Rather than thinking about shifting your whole bag, you can think about your beat-in discs flying more like your newer ones when you go higher in elevation, and vice versa. If you're like me and you typically play at higher elevations, your newer ones are going to fly more like beat-in ones at lower elevations. It's a little technical, but trust me, it works. And one final trick is to think about disc weight. If you hypothetically love board games and bag wraiths in Alabama, then you might think about grabbing a Blizzard Wraith for your next trip to Colorado. Because get this, combining a lighter weight version of a disc you already know with the reduced lift of higher elevations may just make that disc fly exactly like a heavyweight version closer to sea level. It's crazy. I know. Robbie always talks about something I love, which is subconscious confidence. For me, these 3 tricks always help me remain confident in throwing the discs that I'm used to, while also adjusting my expectation for how they'll fly. I know they've helped me a ton, and I truly hope they'll help you too. But for now, oh wait, one more thing. As I mentioned, I make my own discs in my garage out of recycled materials, and Robbie was kind enough to make a video for my channel about exactly how the prototype flies. You can check that out in the link in the description because Robbie is an absolute legend and the video's amazing. But for now, I'm gonna leave you with the birdie.